How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Rangers Rundown. An exciting overtime win for the Rangers tonight. So let's talk about it. Prolonged injuries for Cocko and Rooney. Rooney's been out of the lineup for a couple games, but Cocko has missed quite a few games with the injury that he sustained. Now, the most recent update for both of them is that they're both still at least a week away from returning. We should see both of them well before the end of the season, but again, that depends. The end of the season is now only 22 games away, which is, I think, just over a month. I think the season ends the last week of April. So there's only 6 weeks left in the season, and if those two players miss another week, that's only 5 weeks to play some games before the playoffs start to get back into not only game shape, but playoff game shape. So hopefully those two back sooner rather than later. Tonight's lineup: Kreider, Zibanejad, Lafreniere, Panarin, Strome, Hunt, Gaudreau, Hedl, Brodzinski, Gauthier, McKegg, Reeves, Lindgren, Fox, Miller, Truman, Nemeth, Schneider, and then Georgiev gets the call in net, which makes us all a little bit nervous, but no worries. It seems like this season the only team he can beat is the Anaheim Ducks, and we'll talk about that at the end. First period, Zibanejad chance about 30 seconds in, and then 2 minutes into the game is pretty much all the Rangers. Zibanejad has a 2-on-1-ish with Trouba. Bad pass, so the 2-on-1 doesn't develop into anything. But at 4:29, Brodzinski scores his first goal of the season. Finally, I was very excited when that puck went in the net. I'm waiting for this kid to score his first goal of the season. Apparently, he hits his second NHL goal, so it's not his first NHL goal. He did score previously, but it is his first goal of the season, so good for him. He had a fantastic game as well, along with the third line that he was on. They played a great game. Beautiful pass from Hedl in the neutral zone to kind of send Brodzinski streaking in. 9 minutes in, Georgiev makes a great save on a cross-slot pass to Zegras. He's able to get his pad out and stop it. Couple of giveaways by the Rangers, which leads to some semi-extended offense by the Anaheim Ducks. Rangers just a little sloppy with the puck halfway through the first period. 7.5 left. Strome misses another open net, so this is, I think, 5 or 6 on the season. Not his career, on the season that he has missed. He's had an open net, and he either fans on the puck or just misses completely outright. Tonight, he fanned on the pass. It was a quick pass, to be fair, and he got a piece of it, sent it wide, but Strome with open nets, we're going to make fun of him forever because that's honestly the mark that he has left on this season. Doesn't matter how many goals he scores in the next 22 games. We're going to remember Strome missing empty nets, open nets, I should say. 14:05, Comtois ties it up with a goal. It was thrown at the net. It bounces around. It ricochets, gets past Georgiev, and goes in. So one of those just fluky bounce goals. 16:19, Carrick takes a holding penalty. Now, he was hit pretty hard by Strome, but it was a clean hit. But Carrick obviously did not like that because nobody likes getting hit really hard. So he put Strome into a headlock, which you can't do that. That's against the rules. That is holding. And then on his way to the penalty box, he threw his arm into Strome's face, just gave him a little face wash on the way to the bench, but it was a little more aggressive than a face wash. But he just gets the one penalty, the holding. And the power play is not great. They get one shot on goal. Reeves and Comtois, their skates collide towards the end of that first period, and Comtois goes down awkwardly. If you watch the replay, his leg kind of bends in a weird way. So he goes to the locker room. He would come back, though, so he's okay. 19:46, Lindgren takes a delay of game penalty. So this is his 4th penalty in 3 games, I believe. So he's doing well defensively. Shots 7-6 in favor of the Rangers for that first period. So Anaheim starts the second period with 1 minute and 47 seconds of power play time. Hunt has a partial break at the end of that penalty kill, but he was just out of gas. He couldn't really do much with it. Strome alone in the slot right after that power play ended for Anaheim. And then at 3:06 of the second period, Zibanejad rips a goal. It was during a 6-on-5 delayed penalty, and it was just, he ripped a one-timer from the bottom of the circle, so a super sharp angle, and he ends up getting it past Gibson and into the net, putting the Rangers up 2-1. But at 4:41, Trouba would take a tripping penalty, and 12 seconds into that power play, Fowler would score. It was a seeing eye shot from the blue line. He just picked the corner right over Georgiev's shoulder. So we're back to tied. Rangers lead 1-0, Anaheim ties it. Rangers lead 2-1, Anaheim ties it. So a very close game, a close battle between these two teams. Rangers can control the play after that goal, though, and there was one shift of 5-on-5 where it just looked like a Rangers power play. 8.5 minutes in, Anaheim has a 2-on-1 that misses wide. 8:45 left in the period. Zibanejad finds Kreider, but he could barely control it. It was kind of a takeaway, broken play into the offensive zone. Zibanejad throws it. Kreider able to reach out and just control it enough to get it into the crease, but it's shuffled wide. Georgiev stops a deflection try and then stops an even better deflection try a couple minutes later. So Georgiev doing his best to keep his team in the game. Trouba bats a puck over the net that looked like it would have fell in if he didn't. They showed it from a couple different angles, but Anaheim shoots it and it gets deflected straight up in the air. And from one of the angles, it looked like it would have fallen behind Georgiev and went into the net, but Trouba able to bat that out of harm's way. And that was about 4 minutes left in the period. 17-18, Strome takes a tripping penalty. And then Rangers get a 3-on-2 breakaway during that penalty kill about halfway through. Strome and Gaudreau get a chance out of the box that doesn't amount to anything. Shots 11-10 in favor of the Rangers at the end of that second period. First 5 minutes of the third period, not too much of note happening, but 5 minutes in, Zegras has a takeaway and he tries a between-the-legs shot, but Georgiev able to fight that off and prevent Zegras from getting shown on Sportsnet highlights. Third line has a couple of good chances. They've played well all game, like I said earlier. A weird deflection off of an Anaheim player's skate catches Gibson by surprise, and that would have been just an awful way to give up the lead, is to let an own goal in off of a weird deflection. Halfway through, Lafreniere is sprung for a chance from the circle, and then at 10:35, Grant would score on a breakaway. Now, Nemeth had a shot to keep it in the zone. He was in the corner, he takes the puck, and he goes for a shot to keep the play moving and ends up being deflected just out of the zone. That springs Grant. Schneider is behind him doing his best to try to get his stick in the way, but Grant ends up putting it past Georgiev, so Anaheim leads 3-2. They lead for the first time in the game. Comtois takes a hooking penalty shortly after that at 11:53. Fox has a couple of chances during the delayed penalty just before that. Rangers use a timeout about halfway through that power play to rest their top unit, and that works because at 13:40, Kreider scores his 20th power play goal of the season, a league-leading 20th power play goal. I'm pretty sure it's league-leading. I could be wrong, but I think it is. It's also his 400th NHL point, so congratulations to Kreider. 400 points in the NHL. A shot went wide, bounces off the backboards, back to in front of the net. Kreider backhands it right past Gibson. Beautiful goal, ties it 3-3 for the Rangers. Shortly after that, Hunt has a big hit on Grant into his the boards right in front of his bench. Goes down awkwardly. Grant is jawing at Hunt. I'm going to get you next shift. Things hockey players say to each other. Just over 4 minutes left in the period. Strome almost scores, but it was a really good save by Gibson. He deserves a little credit for tonight. He did let in 4 goals, but he made some pretty timely saves. Rangers controlling the puck just shift after shift. The last 4 minutes of this game was just pretty much all Rangers, just an onslaught of offense and shots from the Rangers. Anaheim takes a timeout with just over a minute left, and then Georgiev has to make a save in the final seconds. I forget who shot it, but it was a decent shot from the angle that it was at. Georgiev makes the save. Shots 19-7 in favor of the Rangers just in that third period. So the game goes to overtime. It only takes 55 seconds for Fox to score the game-winning goal in overtime with a 2-on, I called it a 2-on-1.5. It was a 2-on-1, but Panarin was getting hounded pretty bad, so I didn't feel comfortable calling it a true 2-on-1. So a 2-on-1.5 with Panarin. Able to get the puck to Fox, who was able to put it underneath Gibson for the game-winning goal. A 3-point night for Fox, 1 goal and 2 assists, and a 3-point night for Panarin with 3 assists. Georgiev's first win since the last time these two teams played way back in January. Gibson has seen the ice 7 times between these two teams playing, and he lost all 7 of those games. So Georgiev, I guess he can only win when he's playing the Anaheim Ducks, and it's too bad because we are now finished. The Rangers sweep the season series against the Ducks 2-0, and Georgiev finally gets a win in what seems like forever. Rangers are 6-4 in their last 10 games. Tonight was the 60th game of the season, and they went 6-4 in these past 10 games. I will be doing a 10-game recap tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Stats at the end of the game: shots 38-23 in favor of the Rangers. The Rangers finally outshoot an opponent. Faceoffs 51.9%. They also out-face-off their opponent, something that rarely happens for the Rangers, where they lead in both of those stats by the end of the game. Power play went 1 for 2. Hits 20-16 in favor of the Rangers. Blocks 11-8 also in favor of the Rangers. The trivia question of the evening: Panarin reached 50 assists in 54 games this season. Who was the last Ranger to reach 50 assists in fewer than 54 games? And it was, shocker, Wayne Gretzky. In the 96-97 season, he got to 50 assists in only 51 games. So even towards the end of his career, he was still putting up at least a point a game. Just, you know, the best player the NHL has ever seen. The Rangers are back in action Thursday evening against the Islanders, a team that has struggled pretty much all season, but is playing better as of late. So by all means, not an easy game. I always like to say there's no easy games in the NHL. There's hard games, and then there's harder games. I think the game against the Islanders will be a hard game, but one that they should be able to win, especially if Shesterkin is in net. So look out for the 10-game recap tomorrow, and then we're back in action Thursday night against the Islanders. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next rundown.